Arun and DC's People Champ here. This is our NBA roundtable. We usually talk Wizards, but obviously we're going to talk Knicks tonight with you for a few
Nice.
minutes before we let you go. I've been watching all these Knicks games. They've been a close series. I was shocked with this last game how loud Knicks fans were in Philadelphia. I felt like half the stadium was Knicks fans. You could tell that Embiid was pissed about it.
Yeah.
And he even
Yeah.
made comments about it after the game. And so I'm going to start with your thoughts first, Scott. I mean, it's been a tough series. All these games have been close, and in fact, one of the games you guys were down in the last minute and had this wild comeback.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That game, not that it was even close to the enormity of the comeback that Reggie Miller had, but it reminded me of that. You know the game I'm talking about, the Reggie
yeah,
Miller game, when
yeah.
the Knicks were down by whatever, with I don't know how much time was left, 30 seconds, whatever, but it was reminiscent of that. Like, I mean, they're down by 6 with 20 seconds left. Like, you're just thinking this game's over. And I was really sitting there thinking, I can't believe they're going to lose this one at the Garden. Bam, bam, tie game, win. Like, it was just like,
I watched that Reggie Miller game live.
Yeah.
oh
I
wow.
may look young, but I'm older than you think. I watched that game live, and that was incredible how Reggie got that 1-3, stole the ball, and then got the other three to bring Indiana back.
Yeah.
I watched that game live.
It was just like, you as a Nick fan, you're just like, your jaw hits the floor, and you're like, what? Just, that was crazy. That was amazing. Reggie Miller was amazing.
Yeah. I so what are your thoughts in this series? I mean, it's been very close, so it's definitely
I
not
think
over yet for
I
sure.
think what
Oh, Scott, I think are you guys
Yeah, I can hear him.
yeah, Scott, I think we lost you for a second. Oop, I don't know what happened to Scott.
I think he might. I think his Zoom might have messed him up.
Hold on, okay. I'm gonna just tell him to reset his Zoom. I'm gonna let him know. But Arun, I'll get some of your thoughts real quickly on the next series. I'll wait till I get Scott back. Uh,
Yeah, it's been. I guess like all the Villanova fans showed up. 3 of the 5 Knicks starters are Villanova players from the 2016 and 2018 teams, or it's kind of crazy. So I know one of my friends is a Nova fan. He gave up the 76ers on draft night of 2018 when they traded Bridges. The Sixers drafted Bridges but traded him on draft night, and his mom worked for um, the Bill. She worked for the 76ers, but then it was supposed to be a tell-all good story, but they traded Bridges, and a lot of Villanova fans didn't forgive the 76ers. So that explains maybe 10% of why some Knicks fans, I mean, some of the fans of Philadelphia just were super loud for Villanova, I mean, for the Knicks. And but then I just think it's the tickets are a lot cheaper in Philadelphia. So even with the train ticket or bus ride or car ride and buying a ticket, it was still like half the price of buying a ticket in Philadelphia versus at MSG. And yeah, that end of game 2 was really crazy because um, the 76ers thought they were fouled. They're doing a lot of complaining after the game, but I think it was kind of like they were also getting away with contact during the end of the game, and their GM Daryl Morey was notorious for coming up with complaints like that, like during the Knicks and Nova. I mean, during the Rockets when they lost to the Warriors, all those times they just like kept filing complaints to the officials, so they were pretty salty. So it makes sense that it's a really closely contested series. Embiid's been playing really well, but it just doesn't seem like the 76ers are that deep, but this series is far from over, but looks like the Knicks should win this series.
yeah, he unfortunately Scott is having some computer troubles. So here's what I have an idea. We're gonna switch topics for a second, and then if he comes back on, we can talk more Knicks with him. And while we wait, we can talk a little bit of we have Guillermo in chat. He likes soccer, so I figured we could just do a quick DC United chat, and then we can switch back to NBA if we can get Scott back on. Um, um, So let me just do a change to MLS real quickly and see if that works. Perfect. And yeah. Yeah, we had a big win. I'm excited to finally get in the win column. We've had some ties and some losses recently. But Champ, let people know about the big win.
All right. So DC United hosted Seattle this past weekend, and it was a very, very the most of the offense was in the first half. Leo Chu got the scoring started off in the 14th minute for Seattle on a really nice goal, on a nice little crosser where he managed to like angle it past the goalkeeper. But then at the 28th minute, Stefan Frey got a red card after he ran into our goalkeeper. He got a red card that led to a penalty kick for Christian Benteke, and he ended up nailing it to get the goal at the 32nd minute, and that got them to a 1-1 tie. And then in the 45th minute, Christian scored a second time on a beautiful header using his size to his advantage on the crosser to get it up above the goalkeeper's head and hands to get it to 2-1. And there was no other offense that happened in the second half. It was all defense in the second half, but Christian's goal towards the tail end of the first half was the difference for DC to break a 3-match winless streak. They had gone 1 draw and 2 losses in the last 3 matches before finally getting a victory over Seattle. And with the victory, they now sit in the 8th position on the Eastern Conference table at 3 wins, 4 draws, and 3 losses at 13 points. They would be 7th, but the Philadelphia Union currently hold the tiebreaker due to a goal differential of DC has a goal differential of -1 to Philly. So the Philly has the 7th spot. If the playoffs were to start today, DC would be in, but they would be the 8th instead of the 7th. But it was a really good win. DC held possession of the ball for 58% of the match to Seattle's 42%. So it was a really sound victory for DC to break out of that 3-match winless streak and really start to try to build some momentum. Like I said, it's still early in the season. Christian already has 8 goals on the season so far, so it's looking like he's going to be the guy that's going to be someone to keep an eye on throughout the season. But a really good win for DC United against Seattle after having 3 tough matches coming into this one. And Audi Field was absolutely on fire for this one.
Yeah. I was excited, it was supposed to be a big weekend at Audi Field, because our defenders, so Scott, I don't know if you know, so do you know what the XFL is, Scott?
No, not. I've heard of it, but I don't
So
know.
the XFL originally was a league started by the people who do WWE, and so this was back in the 90s, and they did a lot of crossover promotion.
2001.
2000. Oh yeah, sorry, 2001. Yeah. And it floundered. They tried to bring it back, then COVID hit, and then they tried to bring it back again last year.
Is the indoor arena football?
No, so indoor arena football is different, which we also had a team for a while. That's like a shorter field and like padded walls and
Right.
bounce off of it and different number of players on the team. This is football by normal-ish rules. There's a couple of different variations from the NFL, but it's kind of like a feeder league for the NFL, so people can get, gameplay, like, catches, reps, running, field goal kicks. So teams look at this spring league right before they do their their training camps in the summer, and they
Right.
might pick up a couple of these guys when their contracts are up in June. And it's kind of a way to, like, picks up some undrafted people from college or people that, may have, been left off of teams in the previous year, give them
Right.
another chance. So it's kind of like a minor league, right? So
Yeah,
there
yeah,
were
yeah.
two competing minor leagues for a long time. Well, not a long time, but the last couple of years. USFL was one and the XFL was the other. And so they decided that they each had a TV network associated with it. One had Fox, one had ESPN. What happens if they merged? Then they'd have both networks,
Okay.
and you'd have, maybe
Uh,
the best 8 most highest selling teams or ones you think are most marketable or whatever. So New York had a team in the XFL. Unfortunately, they did not get one in this UFL because again, half the teams had to kind of fold, and it's the top 4 teams kind of bought it. So the Defenders last year, which was DC's XFL team, was they got to the final last year and they lost.
Right.
So this is supposed to be the run it back year, but it's tough. And a lot of Texas teams and the USFL has got some really solid teams as well. So there's only 10 games in a season, so obviously every game matters, because you think about 16 games in the NFL, 17 now. But each game means more the less games you have in theory, right? So just in the top 2 teams from each conference now, so they made it USFL conference of the 4 teams, and they made an XFL conference, kind of
Okay.
like the AFC NFC thing,
Right.
And so top 2 from each one make the playoffs. They play against each other. Winner of that plays in their version of like the Super Bowl, right?
Okay.
So right now we sit in 3rd out of 4. We need to be in the top 2, right? And so we had never lost a home game before in the history of our franchise.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, we got our asses beat at home this week. It was a close game through a lot of it, but unfortunately, in the end, it kind of fell apart for them. Actually, do you real quickly, and then we'll get back into the Knicks. Do you
Yeah,
want to go through Champ that game a little bit, and then
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So basically it was a very offensively the yardage really doesn't translate to the final score, especially on the Seattle side. They only had 280 total yards of offense, 185 yards passing, and only 95 rushing. But DC only had 163 total yards of offense, only 79 passing. Even though Jordan Teamu only had 101 yards, he got sacked quite a bit as well, and only had 84 yards of rushing, and that was combined from 3 different running backs for DC. They did have the 1 rushing touchdown. Zaquandre White was the leading rusher at 33 yards, even though he didn't score the touchdown. AJ McCarron, who's a former NFL quarterback, a former starting quarterback in the NFL, went 14 of 24, 213 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And those touchdowns were absolutely well done. It was a combination of finding the right read and also poor tackling on the part of the defenders' defense. Even DJ Swearinger, who was a former NFL DB for the Washington Commanders, took poor angles and made poor decisions on tackling and things like that, leading to a couple of those touchdowns. Tiamo did throw a touchdown, but he threw 3 interceptions. This is one of the worst games that he has had as an XFL/UFL quarterback. And Hakeem Butler absolutely killed this defender's secondary. 6 catches from out of 9 targets, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And this loss from the defenders at Audi Field ended what was DC's 10-game home winning streak. They had not lost a game in like 2 seasons at Audi Field, and this was the first time they lost at Audi Field in like 2 years. And it was a bad loss, a really, really, really bad loss. A lot of the scoring from St. Louis did come from field goals, but they were able to score a bunch of times in the 4th quarter to really put this game out of reach for the defenders, and the offense just couldn't get it together at all. And now they sit at 2-3 on the season. We're already halfway through the season. There's 5 games left. They need to get it together if they're going to make the playoffs and try to get back to the championship like they did last season, where they were the dominant team of the XFL, but now they're in a combined league with the best from the UFL. They got to get it together. Otherwise, they're going to be on the outside looking in, and they're going to be wondering what if.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do. So next week they got the San Antonio Brahmas, which is one of the worst teams in this league. So they've got to win that. And then they got the Michigan Panthers. Then they play the Battlehawks in St. Louis. So this is their revenge game. So it's kind of turning into a big rivalry between these 2 teams. And then we go to the Memphis Showboats. And then week 10, we play against the Arlington Renegades. The nice thing is at least 3, maybe even more. Hold on. How many games?
The crazy thing about the loss this week was to the Battlehawks, who we swept last season. Like
Right.
we owned the Battle House last season,
They
and then
were a
this
good team, though. People were surprised that we swept them. It was a tough matchup in a lot of those games. It wasn't like we like owned them and see they are basically Scott, if you don't know, what happened was they obviously moved the Rams out of St. Louis, right? So St. Louis needs a team. So they actually play in their stadium, and those fans have kind of galvanized behind this team. So they have the best attendance of any of the things. So it's raucous in there. So it'll be intense when they go back to the Dome at America Center, which is, a big building. So that's one of the few road games we have, that we have 3 remaining home games. And this was the first time we'd ever lost at home. So hopefully we don't lose any more. If we can win those 3 and the rematch and win 4 out of the 5 remaining games, we do have a chance at trying to get that second playoff spot. So there's still an opportunity there for sure. But it's exciting that both teams, our soccer team and our football team, play in the same stadium. So that's kind of cool. Let me switch gears back to the NFL real fast, so that way we can let Scott go to bed soon. And let me just change the graphics back real fast. But so we were talking about how impressed we were about the Knicks and how we thought they were playing really well. What are some of your thoughts going into this next game?
Well, going into the next game, I think the key thing is, man, you got to keep. I can't pronounce his name. Embiid. What's
Yeah,
his name?
Joel Embiid. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that guy. I didn't realize how intensive a player he was, and I think he just came back from injury.
Yeah.
He's a great player.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. But like we were talking about with the Rangers and getting away with some calls and stuff, he's been getting away with murder, man. I mean, I hit to the balls, grabbing the guy's leg, and Robinson's out. He was like, I was really nervous game 4, sorry, that the Knicks were not going to pull that out, and lo and behold, they did, But without Robinson, Hardenstein, 5 fouls in the third quarter, just eh, I didn't know what was going to happen, But after this game, seeing with Robinson out, seeing them pull it together and pull that game out and relatively not with ease, but command, like with a command, Um, I'm expecting them to take this game at the Garden tomorrow, which, by the way, I will have to watch while I'm streaming because I have a Jazz on
Oh
raid
yeah.
trade at 9 o'clock that I have to be there for. So
That's even the worst part, because at least it's a 7 o'clock game, but it's gonna be the end of the game. The part that you care the most about is
I can't end early.
yeah,
I gotta.
yeah. So what time? How long is your Jazz on?
It's 9 to 10. It's just
All
nine
right.
to ten. Yeah.
That's
So
literally gonna be the end of the game. But
it, it,
it goes to overtime, and you get to watch a little bit
it's
after.
all good. Yeah, I gotta fulfill my commitment. That's it. Yeah,
Right. So
that's
people
all.
don't know that he does this really cool jazz raid train. If people are listening and watching us on Facebook, don't know what a raid train is. It's a basically groups of people raid into each other, and they all play jazz music in this case. And so they are a bunch of people. Are you towards the end of the thing? The beginning?
It's a 2 day event because it's like National Jazz Festival days. I don't know, like what's today? Monday? Yeah, like today and tomorrow. Like if you look up, I don't know, you see one of the things, you'll see like there's a list. Like they're going every hour. They're going
How
somewhere.
many hours does it go past yours? Are you one of the end ones, or is it still
I think I'm one of the later ones, like maybe like one of the last like 4 or 5. But they put it in. I'm not sure what time it is, European time. I don't know what time it is, but it's like wherever they put it in. I'm going on like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something in the morning. But really, it's 9 p.m. here. So.
Yeah. So it's funny. We have got a lot of awesome people in chat. I want to shout them out. We got Ginger Dory joining us. I appreciate the resub there. Thank you so much. Of course, we've been talking to Guillermo as well, and it's been awesome. I love Bula Acoustic. He is awesome. We listen to him all morning while I'm rocking out, and that Scott does as well.
Work bullet gets me through my gig, my
Yeah.
work. you know?
Yeah, this is a gig. I feel the same way. I
Yeah.
also work at a school.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's she was saying it's the first time she's seen me with my short hair. It's true. So yeah, I do want to give a quick little shout out. Next week we have a really big fun podcast as well. It's going to be our 3-year affiliate anniversary. And so that'll be kind of fun. I know it's weird because I've been streaming for 9 seasons, so it's weird to have a 3-year affiliate, but I do appreciate, on Twitch being able to get subs and money from it. Obviously, I did on Facebook for a long time for free.
Right.
And so I do appreciate all the support that we get here on Twitch. It's pretty awesome. It helps pay for the whole, studio to
Yep.
not be before I used to pay money to be able to put on a show, right? So it's nice to be able to do that. I want to give also a quick little shout out to the Stream Scribe who gave me this awesome thing right here, which we're trying out for the first time. I haven't put nails in the wall yet. I'm sort of just trying it out there to see if I like it. I think I like it. It's crazy. It's actually so bright that this is the lowest setting because otherwise it blows out the light there. But
Yep.
yeah, it's kind
That's
of
bright.
yeah.
Yeah, that's too bright. Yeah.
Exactly. So I actually put it down to low. But which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So it's
I
got a
like it.
background, which is cool. And so yeah, it's been a fun thing. So we'll do a streamathon rules next week. If someone gives 2 subs, I will make them a static emote. If they give 5 subs, I make a animated emote for anybody. I can even put it on my channel for a month or give it to you, or they can be gifted to other streamers as well. So we'll do that as part of the stream next week. I think Davey is eating a sandwich is going to return to the podcast. So he's always a fun time on it. And obviously I may have continued hockey talk. And Scott, you're always welcome any week that you want to talk about the Rangers if they're still in it. I also offer it to Ryan, that E flat guy, if Carolina makes it. So maybe we have Ryan versus Scott in
Okay.
that would be
Okay.
fun thing. So that's a possibility in a future episode as well. So we've got a new Pokemon in chat. So I don't know if you were able to do the Poke Shop thing that I was talking about before. If you do Poke Shop, Pokeball 1, you get a Pokeball, and then you can do Poke Catch as well for anybody in chat like Bula who is out of Pokeballs. I'm gonna use an Ultra Ball myself, but yeah, so it's fun. But Scott, any final thoughts about the Rangers? I mean, obviously, I assume you want to. I don't know. Would you want it to go like a long series between Carolina and Islanders, and for you guys to rest up a bit, or are you antsy and want to go tomorrow? And yeah,
Didn't the Islanders just get swept?
no, they didn't. They actually won the game
Oh,
4.
they won game 4? Oh, I thought they
Yeah,
lost game 4.
yeah.
Uh,
No, you're actually the
well,
first. You're the first team to make it to the second round. So
well,
yeah. So right
so
now.
yeah, so they would play one of those two teams. So I mean, listen, as a selfish Ranger fan, what I would really want to see, I'd want to see those scrappy Islanders come back and win that series, which was highly unlikely. But yeah, to see the Rangers play an Islander team they're going to be all psyched that they just came back from 3 down and they're going to think that they could rule the world, but they're also going to be exhausted and the Rangers are going to take care of it and lickety split. So. I would love to see that. But I have a feeling that's not going to happen, and we're going to have to deal with the not the Panthers, the Hurricanes, right?
Yeah, you would play the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
So
But
the
you'd play
Hurricanes are
the
beating the
yeah. So you either play Carolina or so right now it's like a bracket. It's like March Madness now.
yeah,
So
it would be Carolina. I
yeah,
think I think Carolina's gonna, and yeah, I think and no offense to your team, but I think that Carolina's gonna be a tougher team than the Caps, and I think the Rangers are gonna have a harder time to win that series. But I would predict though Rangers in 6 or 7.
yeah, yeah. So it'll be fun. But yeah, you have an open invitation to come back to talk Knicks or Rangers whenever you'd like. It's been a lot of fun, and I'll give another shout out to Firestone Rocks
Oh,
Drum.
don't worry
And,
about it. Thank you.
people
you,
should go
man.
check him out if they don't. Tuesdays, he usually does it around 7 o'clock at night. He does a fun show, and then, but you're doing it tomorrow at a different time. You said it was
Well, I'll be
9.
on at 7, and then but then at
Oh, okay. And
9,
then people got it.
right? Yeah,
So he'll do his normal. You can get stuff that's not jazz for the first hour, probably,
right.
and then it'll be jazz, as
You
you
got it.
jazz things.
You
So,
got it.
and then on Thursday, he goes on a little bit earlier. I think it's 4 o'clock usually. Is that
I
right?
try to get on like 3:15, 3:30. I race home from work.
Great
My
time. Okay,
full-time
3:30. I'm
job.
impressed to get home that quick. So yeah,
Whichever one.
3:30, and then till dinner time is
Right. Exactly.
so if you want to catch some Rush songs, definitely do it. I've really enjoyed working with Scott. Real quickly before he goes, I do want to show one thing. Let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna do a Houdini trick. Hold on. I make myself a co-host, and then I wanted to show something real fast. Let me open it real quick and show the new logo that we were working
Oh.
on together. For is it this one? I think it's that one, and then this one, I think. Okay, a couple of different ones here. Let me see if I can screen share this now. And let's see if I can
Yeah,
do
see the
this.
dark, that dark background looks that looks nice.
Let me see, does it go like this? And then I go like that. Cool. So yeah, so it's kind of cool. I did like this cool gradient color background and stuff like that. I also like the dark blue
Great
there,
work.
and you can take out that background too. And then I also have this design as well that has sort of the gradient.
I like the blue one better, I think.
Yeah, I think I like the blue one better too.
Yep.
But it's cool to have different options, and if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want,
yeah.
I could see on a shirt, like you could put this on blue with the gray, like where maybe you'd want
True.
the other one, different colors, different ideas and stuff like that. So I've been working with Scott on doing logos, and he's got a really cool stream where he does an interactive drum show. I'm gonna go back to
And
the
Robbie's fantastic, by the way. If you're out there and you need some work or things like that done, Robbie's the guy to go to.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's Scott. Scott's been a lot of fun to work with. We've worked on his OBS, and so that way his mods and VIPs can actually control the angles of the cameras while he's drumming. He can switch between the different views, and he's got lots of special effects that happen. So it's really interactive, and it's a really fun time over there. So yeah, I'm excited about the logos. I'm excited about your streams coming up, and definitely go check Scott out, and hopefully we'll have you back on before the end of May.
I would love that. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with you. You've been a good guest, even if you are a New York fan. So
I appreciate it, man.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, have a good night, and I'll let you get to some sleep. I know that you've got a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah, man. You know the deal.
Right. All right.
Everybody have a great night. Thank you, Robbie.
Yeah, of course. It's
Good.
awesome.
Take care.
All right. We're gonna switch gears completely now.